Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Muna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Radhanatha Radha Radhanatha Radha Radhanatha Radha Jaya Radha Radhanatha Radha Radhanatha Radha Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivachakacharya Astotatara Satashi Shimadi's Divine Grace Abhay Charana Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivachakacharya Astotatara Satashi Shimadi's Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON Vartmana Guru Vrind Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Mukunda Radha Kundi Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. The Lordship Shri Srinitai Gaura Hari Ki Jai. The Lordship Shri Shri Radha Radhanatha Ki Jai. The Lordship Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai. Jai Bhakti Vigna Vinashini Shingdev Bhagavani Ki Jai. Bhakti Pravashi Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Mayapur Lami Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Vrindavan Lami Ki Jai. Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Ganga Maya Jamuna Maya ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakti Vrindi ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. So welcome, thank you very much for coming to the temple today. We're reading from I'll Build You a Temple. We are on page 195 entitled Arriving on the Scene, a Good Fight. So Srila Prabhupada was living in Bombay at the house of Mr. Bogilal Patel, and he was invited to the house of Mohan Piramal's house. So he had sent the devotees ahead of him, and he had told them to go ahead and he would come. And when he arrived, he was observing the devotees, and the devotees were performing some bhajan. And Prabhupada, afterwards, he had gone back to Mr. Patel's house. He asked Tamal Krishna Maharaj, are you all really preaching, or are you all just going to flatter some rich people? And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, yes, we are preaching. But one thing interesting is that when the bhajan was going on, Prabhupada observed, and he said, start chanting Hare Krishna. And when he was speaking to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he said that we should have a standard. We are not here to entertain people. The idea is to educate people who are interested in chanting Hare Krishna. So it's not a matter of going to flatter some rich man or become some entertainers. He was serious about preaching Krishna consciousness. So we can understand that if we follow the standards that Srila Prabhupada had set, he wanted the preaching to be pure. And if we follow the standards that he set, we will always remain pure. It's a very wonderful understanding. As long as we follow the standards that Srila Prabhupada has given us, we will always remain safe. Now when Srila Prabhupada was living at Bogilal Patel's house, something very wonderful happened. This is the home. Something very monumental took place. This is the home where Mrs. Nair surrendered to Srila Prabhupada. It's a very important thing. But then something else interesting happened as well, and you will read. When I read it the first time, I thought there was some mistake. Maybe I misread it. Maybe I should read it again. But when I read it, I understood, no, it's what I'm reading is correct. So I will read it, and we'll say a few words about it. When I passed one day, I saw Garga Muni and Tamal Krishna sitting opposite Prabhupada's desk, arguing with him. I was surprised. I had never seen disciples argue so vehemently with him. We're just wasting our time in India, Garga Muni was saying. Prabhupada clearly wanted them to stay. We are just like businessmen, one of them said. We are collecting money and making life members. Prabhupada was sympathetic to their frustrations, but told them, I want you to stay here. It is the spiritual master's desire that you stay here, so that is better. Isn't it service to go to America and preach, one asked. In America, the preaching is so much better. I was sitting off to the side, Shruti Kirti recalled, amazed at the intensity of my God brothers. Garga Muni and Tamal Krishna seemed relentless, but the more they were determined to leave India, the more Prabhupada was determined to have them stay. It was evident that Prabhupada considered the preaching work in India to be of the utmost importance. Seeing how upset Srila Prabhupada was, I was squirming in the corner of the room. I also understood how hard it was to stay in India. Srila Prabhupada was depending on these men to assist him in this important work. But they felt that they just couldn't do it any longer. It was a fierce battle. The intensity of the negotiation was something I would have expected among peers, rather than between spiritual master and disciple. Prabhupada wanted them to stay, and that was final. They argued that they needed to leave India to preach. At this time, the West was a fertile preaching field. Finally, in apparent disgust, Srila Prabhupada said, all right, you just chant 16 rounds, follow the four-legged principles, and do any damn thing you want. So when I read this, I was thinking, what on earth is this? What do you make of this? I didn't know. I didn't know what to make of it. I was thinking, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj was sitting here. And I remember the first time he came to our home many years ago. And I was new in Krishna consciousness. And being young, I had a very bad attitude. And Maharaj was asking me, so what do you think about this? Oh, who cares? I don't care. And I was speaking like, and after maybe about a minute, he looked at me straight in the face. He said, you know what you need? I said, no, Maharaj, what do I need? He said, you need a running kick. He said, I will give you such a running kick, you will not stop running. And I figured, okay. I was in shock. I never said a word. I mean, I couldn't believe. I'm thinking he's a saintly person. He wouldn't. But all of a sudden, he said, but that was a sannyasi Maharaj. I could understand. But imagine speaking that way to Srila Prabhupada, arguing with Srila Prabhupada. So when I read this, I couldn't understand. How was it possible? But as Giriraj Maharaj said, he could understand how hard it was to stay in India. And there's another point we can understand, is that everything that takes place happens by Krishna's arrangement. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, Text 6, it describes that not even a blade of grass can move without Krishna's sanction. So everything that takes place is Krishna's arrangement. Had Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Gargamuni Swami not left India, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj would not have taken control of the development of the Juhu project. And somehow or the other, Mr. Nair had a very wonderful affinity towards Giriraj Maharaj. He liked him. He liked him very much. He saw him like a son. And therefore, when Maharaj was dealing with him, it had a different approach. And if Mr. Nair had not caused the problem that he did, maybe we wouldn't have gotten the Juhu temple. Because in India, when there's some court case going on, it can go over 20 years. One person will say something, then my granddaughter will come, and then their children will come from here, and then their grandchildren, and it goes on and on and on. But Srila Prabhupada was saying, everything that has taken place is in our favor. Last week, His Grace Swarup Damodar was saying, Prabhupada said, everything that took place is by Krishna's arrangement. We have a very strong footing. So Srila Prabhupada was saying, he wants them to stay. And we can understand that they are Westerners. They're not used to this uncomfortable situation. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada is wanting them to stay. He had no other persons to assist him. And this Juhu project was very, very important to him. And here's another thing. It's very easy to criticize somebody else. Prabhu, you should do it like this. No, you should not do it like that. So if I say, okay, Prabhu, you come and sit in the Vyasa, no, I was fine. So it's very easy to tell somebody else, I want you to do this. I want you to, how could they do that? But when we find ourselves placed in the same situation, the same scenario, then we know what it feels like. So we don't criticize others like this. Srila Prabhupada, but unless one goes through the same experience, yes, eventually they did leave India, Gargamuni and His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj. We were speaking about Shruti Kirti Prabhu a little earlier on. I remember reading Prabhu speaking or writing in his book, What is the Difficulty? He had gone on these world tours with Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada wanted him to come to serve with him. Serve me on my tour. By this time he was married. He had a small child, maybe a few months old. But Prabhupada wanted him to come and he went. But after some time he couldn't take it in Bombay. He couldn't tolerate India. And he left Srila Prabhupada's association. And he went back. But when he had gone back after Srila Prabhupada had performed his uppercut Leela, he left this world. Maharaj writes, what I would not give to be with Srila Prabhupada again. He accepted that he had made a mistake. To massage Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. To serve him, to be able to assist him. He had made a mistake and there was something that he could not do to reverse this. And so we can learn a lesson from this, is that there are two things. We learn from this that Srila Prabhupada, when we read this book, I'll Build You a Temple, whenever the opportunity arose for Srila Prabhupada to act, he acted immediately. He didn't hesitate and wait for tomorrow. As His Holiness Radhanand Swami says, procrastination is one of the greatest enemies of a spiritualist. I'll leave it for tomorrow. I'll leave it for next week. I'll leave it for next month. I'll leave it for next year. Why next year? I'll leave it for the next life. Because this is how it goes. We keep dragging on and on and on. And as I said, there's 2 points. There's 2 points in the sense that, one, life is short. If we don't take advantage of whatever services that come our way, then we may just miss it completely. That when a service opportunity comes to serve in the temple, serve the devotees, we should grab the opportunity immediately. So I was speaking to my wife, Gaur Leela, and I was asking her, what do you think about this? Prabhupada wants them to say, they want to go, he wants them to say, they want to go. And she said that actually at the end of the day we all have independence. We all have this free will, and we can choose what we want to do. No one can force us. It reminds me of a drama that was once done by His Grace Aniruddha Prabhu from the Bhaktivedanta Players from London. And the drama was called The Promise. And it starts off in the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, Krishna is telling the Jiva, don't go, stay here with me. The Jiva is saying, no, I want to go just to see, I'll come back. Krishna says, it's not a good place, don't go. I'm telling you, it's not good for you. Jiva says, no, I just want to see for a short time, I'll come back. But you know, my Lord, when I leave, I will not forget you. I promise. So this is how the drama is called, The Promise. But as soon as he leaves, automatically he's caught by Maya and he forgets Krishna. So this is the danger of the material world. This is how important the lesson it is that whenever the service opportunity comes, we should take them immediately. If we don't, then basically we miss the chance, the golden opportunities that are always available to us. And then we find Mr. Mohata. Mr. Mohata, he was studying the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam with the devotees. And he was complaining to Srila Prabhupada, when I asked your disciples questions, they cannot answer me. So he asked Brahmananda, who was one of the teachers, what's going on? Why are you not answering the questions? He said, Prabhupada, we're reading from your books, whatever they ask. And Prabhupada's lips curled. He shook his head. He says he does not want to know what you know reading from the book. He wants to know what you know. So the idea is that Prabhupada wanted us to read his books. He wanted us to study his books scrutinizingly. It's a very, very important point because he had spent so much of time. Srila Prabhupada had spent so much time translating these books for us to be able to read and study. So reading and understanding should be there. It's not that you just read. I asked you, what did you understand? I just read it, Prabhu. It doesn't really matter what the understanding is. I just read it. I've read so many books. I've read the Srimad Bhagavatam. I've read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I've read this and that and so many other books. But if you read all the books and you don't come to the understanding, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, you simply wasted your time. And if you don't understand that, how can you explain that point to somebody else? First you read, you understand, and if you are convinced, you can convince somebody else. In the Gita, Krishna says, Yeyatamam prapadyante tamstateva bhajamiham. As you surrender unto me, I reward you accordingly. But the mercy of the spiritual master, is causeless. We'll read on page 197. As I was passing the door to Srila Prabhupada's room one day, he motioned to me with his eyes to enter. Bhadaraj singing of Narottam Das Thakur's Gauranga Duti Pada was playing from a new album of kirtans. Every town and village recorded live at the New York Temple. When it was over, Prabhupada looked up and said, when I am no longer present, you can listen to this song and remember your spiritual master. It was a poignant statement that entered deep into my heart. I considered why Prabhupada had singled out that song. One verse says, Gaurang gunite jure nitya lile taras pure se jana bhakati adhikari. If anyone feels ecstasy and cries from appreciating Gauranga's transcendent qualities, he becomes eligible to perform pure devotional service. And Maharaj writes, and I was confident that if I or we remembered Srila Prabhupada in that mood of appreciation, with such feelings of separation, we would get the same result. Every devotee is searching after this one thing, pure devotional service. And by serving the pure devotee, automatically one enters into that understanding. So just by remembering Prabhupada, appreciating his kindness upon us, Krishna will bless us with pure devotional service. This is the potency of a pure devotee. The past Sunday, His Holiness Pati Chaitanya Maharaj spoke, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 16. Shru Shusho Shadanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchi Sat Mahad Seva Vipro Punya Tirtha Nisevanat. Just by approaching those persons who are free from vice and hearing from them, automatically the message for Vasudeva appears. It appears in the heart. It awakens in the heart. So this is the power of coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada. Just by coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada, one is guaranteed of entering into devotional service. And not just devotional service, pure devotional service. And Maharaj, while he was in Bombay, he was making life members. He was preaching to the Indians. And one person, Mr. Ashok Birla, Maharaj was speaking to him and cultivating. And he spoke to this person and he said, see, we're building this temple in Vrindavan. How much would you give? So there's a whole list of different amounts. And Srila Prabhupada taught his disciples, you must do like I am doing. Go for the rhinoceros. Don't think small, always think big. So Ashok Birla asked Maharaj, what do you want? What do you want to give? He said, well, 3 lakhs, 300,000 rupees we want for building the temple room in Vrindavan. He said, yes, fine, no problem. And then his mother, his mother's name was Srimati Gopi Kumari Birla, one of the richest women in the world, one of the richest families in the world, had come to visit Srila Prabhupada. And when she had come, even though she was such a wealthy person, immediately she offered obeisances. And Srila Prabhupada acknowledged. And in response, he started to preach. He started to preach Krishna consciousness. And there's an important understanding. When we approach a saintly person and we are submissive, automatically the nectar flows. When we approach a saintly person with a mood of surrender, automatically mercy comes our way. This is something very important we can learn from. So we come to the next point, or the most important part. The topic was meant for today, is dealing with Mrs. Nair. Mrs. Nair's lawyer, Mr. Vakil, and there was another person, his name was Mr. Shah. They were giving Srila Prabhupada an extremely hard time. And normally you would expect Indian people to be cultured. I hope there are no lawyers present. Anybody a lawyer in the room? Now it says when there's a drop of drop of blood in the water, a shark can sense that drop of blood from miles away. And with all due respect to all the lawyers, some of my God family are lawyers. A lawyer has that mentality, and we find this Mr. Shah and all the other lawyers, Mr. Vakil, they had inflated the price or the cost of the Juhu property so that they could come and take a cut of that to fill their pockets. And therefore they were threatening Srila Prabhupada, oh Swamiji, either you pay up or we're going to kick you out. Your property does not belong to you. We can get 20 lakhs. We can get even more than this. Your money is of no use to us. What are you going to do? Are you going to sign the agreement to pay us 17 lakhs cash, or are you going to surrender? And if you surrender, you're still going to have to pay. So this was their plan. And they were thinking, okay, we're going to outsmart this person. They thought they were just dealing with some elderly old person, Swami, and they were going to just take him for a ride. And Srila Prabhupada, he was not happy at all, because he understood these people are cheating me. But he knew the lawyers were involved and they all wanted their cut. Mrs. Warrior, is the temple opening now? Curtain opening? Okay. Mrs. Warrior, who was a tenant at the Juhu property, and Mr. Asnani, Shri Shri Radharanath ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, the Pujaris ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande. So Mr. Asnani, who was he was a lawyer and he was a friend and also a life member. He had come, and he and Mrs. Warrior, who was a tenant at Juhu, they had gone to see this Mrs. Nair. And they were telling her, you're an old person. You don't have any relatives. Why don't you give the Swami this property? He's going to pay you the amount. Why are you doing this? And they were trying to convince her, and she was saying, but in my old age, there's disease and I need to. But there was something that they had known. Mr. Nair, he had made a whole lot of debts. He was owing many people money. And Mrs. Nair was in a predicament. She needed the cash. So they were taking advantage of this, and they were telling her, he will give you 17 lakhs cash. Don't worry, he will arrange everything. You simply surrender unto him and he will take full care of you. But she wasn't fully convinced. She said, yes, I will meet with him. But she wasn't prepared to accept whatever he was going to say. She said, yes, I will meet with him. So when this word got to Srila Prabhupada, that he had heard that Mrs. Nair wants to speak to him, he said, yes, Tell her I want to see him. Prabhupada said, tell her, he sent a message, tell her that I am saying, you are my daughter and I love you. After all the problems they had caused. Now somebody tells us one thing, we hold it in our mind for maybe 20 years. You know, I was standing in the line then one day and Prabhu just cut me off and this and such. It's little petty things and we don't forget. And here Srila Prabhupada, they put him to the grinder. They did every single thing that you could imagine to disturb a saintly person. And here Srila Prabhupada says, you are like my daughter. I love you. And he wasn't lying, he was speaking the truth. Even though somebody hurt you so badly, and her husband had tried to insult Krishna in such a way. It reminds me of the Bhagavatam, when Draupadi was insulted like this, and the sons were murdered. Her 5 sons, innocent boys, were murdered. When Asvatthama was brought to be killed, she said, let him go. Let him go. He is the son of your guru. If I have lost my 5 sons, if she loses her son, I know the pain of what it feels like. How can I do this to somebody else? This is what saintliness is. This is what being a saintly person is. Srila Prabhupada, even though people had harmed him so much, still he was prepared to forgive. Just like one time there was one person in the temple, he was stealing all the checks going to the bank. And they've caught him and they said, Prabhupada, we've caught the culprit. What should we do with him? Everybody was waiting. And Prabhupada said, we should forgive him. We should forgive him. If he does it again, then we can take some action. But if he has made a mistake, we should forgive him. We can learn like this. And Srila Prabhupada was saying that this is what we need to do, how we can act. He expressed his love like a father. Time was of the essence. Srila Prabhupada was to meet Mrs. Nair the following evening. At the same time, Mr. Vakil, Mrs. Nair's lawyer, was waiting for an answer. Are you going to pay the 17 lakhs cash or are we going to have to drive you out? So Srila Prabhupada, his brilliance in this whole thing is unreal. The brilliance of it, the intelligence behind how he arranges whole thing. Unsuspecting that you can outwit a lawyer, then you must be pretty intelligent. Because when you go to a court and the lawyer is speaking, he'll speak in such a way that you won't know what to say. Just like how once there was one case, Srila Prabhupada writes in the Leelamrita, there was this case in the early 1900s and this woman was raped. And the lawyer was questioning her, did you feel some pleasure in this action? And she just said, yes, there was. And immediately, yes, that means you enjoyed what took place. And therefore, your case is dismissed. The lawyer won the case. This is the nature of a lawyer. Even though something is wrong, he can turn it around and make it right. And Srila Prabhupada was dealing with people like this, crafty-natured persons, lawyers. And he was able to outsmart somebody like this. He told his disciples, you go ahead. You go ahead and you go and tell this person. You tell him that, okay, that I'll tell you all just now. Let's speak something else. On page 201, Srila Prabhupada asked his disciples, what should we do? Should I pay the 17 lakhs to this man? Or should we just leave it? What should we do? And then the disciples, devotees are always silent. And Srila Prabhupada said, finally he told us, okay, we will pay. Actually, I don't even want this land. But because I have invited Radha and Krishna to come here, it will be a great insult if they are driven away. And I could not bear that. A gentleman, when he gives his word, he is prepared to die by his word. Because that's what being a gentleman is. If I give you my word that I will do this, then come what may, I will stick to my word. And Srila Prabhupada is dealing with the Lord, face to face, one-on-one. As you seeing me, I am seeing you. Prabhupada is seeing Krishna, and they're having an exchange. And he is saying as a gentleman, please come here to this Juhu place. I will build you this temple. And the Lord, in respect, is complying. Yes, I will come. And now that you've come, and the Lord asked him, where is my temple? Now you called me, and they have chased me away. What is this? Then how do you face? So Prabhupada was thinking, how can I face Krishna? And I've called him, he has responded. And now that he has come, he's being turned away. He couldn't tolerate it. Finally, he told us, as the gentleman, Srila Prabhupada requested the Lord to come, and he couldn't bear that the Lord being turned out. It's like a guest comes to your house and all of a sudden you chase the guest away. Even if the guest is an enemy that comes to your home, still you have to honor him as if there is no trouble. This is etiquette. And here we're dealing with God. And Srila Prabhupada is inviting Krishna, you come here. I promise you I will give you a temple. I will build this for you. And all of a sudden, the Lord has to be kicked out. So this man was, Mr. Vakil was pestering. He wanted this place to be either paid up, 17 lakhs cash, or you all simply leave the place. So Srila Prabhupada told his disciples that I want you all to sign this agreement. And I want you all to accept. Say that I will, Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami accepts paying the 17 lakhs cash to you or to Mrs. Nair. He said, but I want you to make mistakes in the entire agreement. So much so that when this Mr. Vakil reads it, he will understand, oh, these foreigners are fools. They have messed this entire agreement up. And when he spots all these, he will not suspect that Srila Prabhupada was buying time, that he was going to speak to Mrs. Nair, because he had absolutely no clue. And this is the guile, the beauty of Srila Prabhupada. It says that Prabhupada, where is it? Maharaj writes, I was struck by how intelligent and diplomatic, how clever Srila Prabhupada was. He had tricked this lawyer. The lawyer had no clue that Prabhupada was not going to pay the money to him. And Prabhupada was going to cut him out of this entire transaction. He was thinking, oh, Swamiji is going to pay me the 17 lakhs. Ching, he saw the dollars. It's all going to happen. What will happen in one day? So the disciples went, devotees went. They saw, we didn't know. Oh, we've made such a mistake. Oh, please forgive us. We will go and get it signed. We'll get it typed as you want. We'll bring it tomorrow. No problem. So Vakil was thinking, I've got you. What's going to happen within one day? What can happen within one day? So he was quite satisfied. No problem. I will go. You all can go. Don't worry. Tomorrow you all can bring. And this is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada. That even whilst all these problems and dramas were taking place, he was still preaching. Every night at Mr. Bogilal Patel's house, different guests would come and Srila Prabhupada would preach Krishna consciousness. Now when we have one problem, one little thing, we can't even sleep at night and we're thinking, and even if we're chanting and we're doing so many things, our mind is fixed on that thought. When will it come right? Why did Krishna do this to me? How is the solution going to come about? But here Srila Prabhupada is preaching Krishna consciousness. Amidst all the turmoil, it's like an earthquake taking place, and Srila Prabhupada is just continuing with whatever he is doing. It reminds me of the one time in Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada was busy doing something, and the bombs were falling, and they're saying, Abhay Babu, let's go, the bombs are coming. Prabhupada said, no, I'm busy doing some service to Krishna. I'm not interested. These bombs are another form of Krishna. So if that's the way I have to go, that is fine. Completely undisturbed. He lived up true to his name, Abhay Charan. One who's fearless at the lotus feet of Krishna. And this is the beauty, Srila Prabhupada. And while he was doing the program that night, at Mr. Bogilal Patel's house, and word came to him that Mrs. Nair has come to see him. And Srila Prabhupada, it says, immediately he went downstairs. He went downstairs to go and speak to Mrs. Nair. He didn't think, okay, Mrs. Nair is here, I'm giving a talk on Krishna consciousness. When I'm finished, then I will go. Immediately, he took that opportunity. He never ever missed an opportunity when it came. And I will speak a little later on, and we can see of how he had arranged everything. He had gotten Tamal Krishna Maharaj to already draw up the agreement even before he spoke to Mrs. Nair. The entire contract. He had everything planned. Trikaldarshi. This is what a saintly person is. He can see past, present, and future. It's like how he was speaking to the one man, Mr. Reuben, in America. I can see everything, he said. The land, the buildings, the temple, the books, the devotees, everything is there. The only thing that is separating me is time. So Mrs. Nair had come. He left the devotees to continue with the program. And Srila Prabhupada, he was speaking to Mrs. Nair. Page 202. Then he spoke to Mrs. Nair with a kind-hearted tenderness. You are my daughter, he told her. I will take care of you. Mrs. Nair bowed down at his feet and burst into tears. I am sorry, she implored. Please forgive me. I didn't intend all those things to happen. Now I just want to give you the land and be peaceful again. Prabhupada touched her head gently. Don't worry, he consoled her. I will see to all of your needs for the rest of your life. If she surrendered to him, he was telling her, he would give her all protection. It was an important lesson for me too, that anyone who surrendered to Prabhupada would be completely protected by him. Hearing of this exchange, I asked myself, why am I hesitating? This woman is just surrendering to him now, and Prabhupada is giving her full protection, while I have been hanging around the movement for years and have never really surrendered. It was a good lesson. So it was a good lesson. We can understand that whenever we see some act of positivity, we should become influenced by that positivity as well. And here we can understand that His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj is a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava always sees the good in others. He didn't think, actually I'm here before you. There's a long line of devotees to surrender to Srila Prabhupada. And you have to wait your turn. He didn't think like this. He saw that here this Mataji is surrendering to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada is saying, if you surrender unto me, I will give you all protection. And he was thinking, what's holding me back? What's holding any of us back from surrendering? He said, even 1 second, one lecture Prabhupada was giving, he said, even 1 second, how long does it take to surrender to Krishna? He said, 1 second. 1 second, anyone, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're black, or whether you're white, or whatever you may be, the matter of surrender is from the heart. It's an individual thing. And here we find this Mrs. Nair. The opportunity had come. Srila Prabhupada is offering that protection. And immediately, if she took it, he would give it to her. And in the same way, if any one of us surrenders to Srila Prabhupada in this way, he will give us all protection as well. After Mrs. Nair surrendered, Srila Prabhupada made an offer to Mrs. Nair, and she accepted. Srila Prabhupada had already had Tamal Krishna Maharaj type out the agreement, even before Mrs. Nair could arrive. When she agreed, he immediately pulled it out of his pocket, got Mr. Asnani, take it through the document, and got her to sign. Immediately. As soon as the opportunity came, he didn't think, okay, tomorrow, because tomorrow Mr. Vakil was going to wait for that agreement to pay 17 lakhs. So Prabhupada acted immediately, because you act immediately. While the iron is hot, you strike. And that is the mood Prabhupada always had. Don't ever miss an opportunity. When the opportunity comes for service to Krishna, service to the devotees, take it immediately. Because if we don't take it, it will be like how Shruti Kirti Prabhu said, I missed the opportunity serving Srila Prabhupada. I left his service for some other reason. And then he regretted. Srila Prabhupada would not allow the situation to drag on. Time was limited and he was seizing the moment. If he did not act now, everything would be lost. He went upstairs and he gave a very beautiful lecture. Then he returned and he signed the final agreement with Mrs. Nair. But there was one little problem, handling Mrs. Nair's lawyers. There was another obstacle in the way. Twice, Srila Prabhupada's disciples had blundered the whole thing. And this time, Srila Prabhupada said he was not leaving until the devotees could get this whole operation arranged by his intelligence, by his power. He would allow them to do things, but not in this circumstance. This time he was handling everything himself. On page 202, Prabhupada explained the movement, the mission. The idea was that to preach and to make people Krishna conscious. He was speaking of transcendental fraud, taking people's money but not giving them Krishna consciousness. He said, this is not what we are about. That we just take somebody's money and they can go to hell. No. The idea said that we are making life members. We are giving books. We are doing all this. Why? Because we want to cultivate people to make them Krishna conscious. So we understand the point of Srila Prabhupada's expertise. This Mr. Jain, Mr. Mehta, he had come and he was testing Srila Prabhupada out. We'll write. An elderly Jain, the older Mr. Mehta, came dressed in a traditional white Indian suit, vest and cap. Prabhupada remained seated on his asana almost immediately after entering. As if to catch Prabhupada off guard, Mr. Mehta said, I understand you are in negotiations with Mrs. Nair. So who will take the land? You or me? Prabhupada sat up straight, looked him in the eye and said, I will. Well, what about my claim? Mehta objected. My claim is for 6 lakhs, a hugely inflated figure. My claim is for 12 lakhs, Prabhupada counted. If Mr. Mehta wanted the land, he would have to pay Prabhupada 12 lakhs to withdraw. Mr. Mehta could see that he was up against a smart, tough fighter, not just some simple elderly sadhu. His eyes opened wider and his whole demeanor seemed to change, to become humbler and more respectful. Prabhupada began preaching to him. And this is how the whole understanding came about. This Mr. Mehta realized who he was dealing with. Initially he thought, oh, he's just some Swami. But when he was leaving, he was telling the devotees, your Swamiji, he is Paka. He is a Paka Guru Maharaj. It's as if he was struck by lightning. You know, they say from a rose, Prabhupada is soft as a rose and hard as a thunderbolt. And this man thought, Prabhupada is a Swami. He's delicate. I can just take advantage of him. And after Srila Prabhupada spoke to him for just a short while, he understood what it was like to be struck by a thunderbolt. So this is how it is. On page 206, we learn the understanding of Bhavagrahi Janardana. We're running out of time, so we won't read the whole thing. But this man came into the room in the temple. Prabhupada was describing the problems with all his devotees and his friends. And this man, laborer with just a cloth around his waist, a dark-skinned man, he just entered the room with some flowers in his hand. And Maharaj was concerned that what is he going to do? And he walked up straight to Prabhupada and he took a bunch of flowers and he placed it in front of Prabhupada and he bowed down and he walked away. Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna is moved by our devotion. Krishna is only interested in our love. He's not interested in anything else. Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna is affected by love. He is attracted by love. And Srila Prabhupada said, I am just an ordinary, insignificant human being. Krishna, when somebody is offering to love, would love to him, how Krishna accepts. And Prabhupada's voice choked up and he said, he has moved me. When we offer love to someone, he's not saying, I love you. Love is an expression. It's shown. And when that love is real, when that love is genuine, you can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel someone's love for you. And that is genuine. And because this man had come with such a sincere mood to offer something to Srila Prabhupada was affected by it. So Srila Prabhupada had arranged a meeting with Mrs. Nair, her lawyer, Mr. Mehta and her son to come together to make the final agreement on this entire property. And when they had come together, on one side is Mrs. Nair and Mr. Mehta, his son, in the same room. And it became like a cat and dog fight. If you put a cat and dog together, you'll understand what it is. They go at each other because all these years of struggle, it was an eruption in the heart of Mrs. Nair and Mr. Mehta. That hatred that built up over all these years. When they came face to face to each other, automatically there was an explosion, like a volcano just opening up. And they started screaming and shouting. And Prabhupada came and he pacified them. He said, come on, just be cool. Just stop all this nonsense. And because he understood, because Mrs. Nair was wanting to drag this on. She said, I will not surrender to Mr. Mehta. I will drag this case on for years. And Mr. Mehta was saying, I don't care if I lose my money. I will not surrender to her. I will not give in to this woman. And they were going on like this. And Prabhupada was saying, no, let's sort this out. And he was expert. He was like, even though they both were inimical towards him and he had something to gain also. But the beauty is that he had befriended them and they were trusting him. And he was saying, no, you shouldn't do like this. And just at the opportune time, Mr. Ganatra had entered. Mr. Ganatra, he was a mayor and he had entered. And he had entered in, he said, oh, he started glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Oh, Swamiji, you are so powerful. And Mr. Mehta smiled because he knew Mr. Ganatra. And somehow I suspect that Mr. Ganatra and Mr. Mehta went on this together. So he said, no, and Prabhupada explained to him, see, this is what's going on. I have this problem. This man is owning part of the property. I'm trying to purchase this property from Mrs. Nair, and this is what's going on. Mr. Ganatra said, okay, fine, no problem, I understand. And he said, okay. Prabhupada said, can you please assist? Mr. Ganatra said, of course, I will help you. Mr. Mehta and your son, you come to this room here. You and Mrs. Naya and your lawyer, you sit here, and Prabhupada, you speak to them, I will speak. So he was the negotiator, the mediator. He went in the room, he spoke to Mr. Mehta, came back, spoke to Mrs. Naya. Mr. Mehta wants so much money, and he inflated this amount so high that Mrs. Naya said, no, I will never pay him so much. Prabhupada said, how much will you pay? He said, I'll pay only so much. Prabhupada said, no, but that's too low. And Mr. Ganatra said, okay, let me go and see. And he went. And he came back. No, Mr. Mehta said such and such. No, I will not pay. Prabhupada said, no, pay a little bit something. And he went back and forth like this. Mr. Ganatra was going up and down. Eventually to a point where it came, where Mr. Ganatra said, okay, this is how much Mr. Mehta has said. And Mrs. Naya said, I will pay only so much and nothing further. And that's exactly what Srila Prabhupada wanted. He wanted Mrs. Naya to pay a certain amount. And earlier on, when Mr. Mehta had his arrangement, his meeting with Srila Prabhupada, he understood who he was dealing with. So he wasn't getting involved. He knew, I can trust him. Whatever he does will be for my best interest. So he stayed out of it. And he let Prabhupada handle the whole situation. And eventually Mrs. Naya agreed to pay a certain amount to Mr. Mehta. Prabhupada was quite pleased. He said, yes, that is the right amount. Tell him I will give 85,000 rupees as well to such and such thing. Because he was meant to pay much more. But now he was paying a very small amount. And this is tact. I needed to come here today at 7:30. And I said I will leave home at 6 o'clock. But actually I was wanting to leave at 6:30. But I told my wife I will leave here at 6. And therefore we left at 6:30. If I said, excuse me, no harm. I shouldn't say my wife. But the idea is that if I said we will leave at 6:30, then probably we would have left at 7 o'clock. So I learned something from Srila Prabhupada. It's a tactic, a matter of intelligence. That if you want something done, you got to apply your intelligence. And this is exactly what Srila Prabhupada did. He applied his intelligence, not just to this situation, in all situations. One, he always seized an opportunity whenever it came. He always struck while the iron was hot. And two, he always used his intelligence. And he said, from the time I was a small boy, I always got whatever I wanted. Why? Because he was always determined. If he knew he wanted something, he knew exactly how to get it, by using his intelligence. And he said, he always said to his disciples, do as I am doing. And he was expert in every way. And this is how we find our spiritual masters are equally expert as Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because they were taught from a master. And in the end it says, the last line on page 208 where we are meant to stop, it says, in the end, everyone was happy. So this is what the idea was. Everybody was to be satisfied. And Srila Prabhupada, by his expert arrangement, by his business-minded mentality, his superly excellent Krishna consciousness, he was able to make everyone happy. He made everybody satisfied in the whole agreement. And in that way, everything was resolved. And this is what you call expert management. That everybody becomes satisfied. Everybody, no matter who it is, from the highest person down to the lowest person, everybody is satisfied. And Prabhupada told His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, this is what expert management means. Everybody is satisfied. We have this example of Narayan, Prabhupada's disciple, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, god brother. Prabhupada said everybody has to be occupied doing something. Everybody has to be engaged. And an expert manager knows the qualities of each individual and engages him to get the full benefit out of the individual, because this is what you like. If you like planting and being in the garden, I'll put you in the garden. If somebody likes to do deity worship, then that should be your service. Because that's where you will flourish. Because that's what you enjoy. Now if you're placed in a place where you don't like, it's going to be difficult, like the fish out of water. When he's placed in an environment which is not conducive to him, he cannot act or function properly. So an expert manager is this, is that whatever he sees that is there in his followers or students or whoever he is managing, he understands this person has an inclination to do this. Yes, I engage him in that. And full benefit, he flourishes and gives off his best. Just like how early on, Tamar Krishna Maharaj and Garga Muni, they want to preach. They don't want to do business and all of these things. And therefore they were insisting, no, we want to be given opportunity to do this. You are making us do that. We don't like that. So when you are placed in an opportunity or surrounding where you know you will flourish, you will give off more than what you normally would. And when you're put in a position where somewhere where you're not happy, you won't give up as much or even give half of what you meant to be giving. So thank you very much. I will stop here. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Does anybody have any questions, please? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.